Hello everyone. Uh, okay, so we are going to start LeetCode 2348 number of zero-filled subarrays, right? So let us start with reading the problem first. Given an integer array nums, return the number of subarrays filled with 0, right? Now, wait a second. So let us look at the input in the example one. So nums are given as 1, 300, 200, 4, right? So 1, 300, 200, 4, right? So I'm just checking whether the live is running or not. Yes. So, okay, right? So we have nums is equal to 1300 to 2004 and the output is 6. Given an integer array nums, return the number of subarrays filled with 0. Now 1300 2004, right? So what I'll do is let us just consider the first example's explanation. There are 4 occurrences of only subarray which is having only 0 for only one time, right? Now there are 2 occurrences of subarrays which are having 2 zeros. Now there is no occurrence of a subarray with a size more than 2 filled with 0, right? So therefore we will be having the output of 6, right? Output 6, right? But if you see, let us take for only 0 I have one time, right? So for 0 and 0 I have 2 subarrays, right? I'll tell you totally how many subarrays I can get, right? So first thing, I have 0 and 0. So taking only one subarray, only one 0, this is one subarray, right? Taking this 0 into the consideration of the subarray, another 0, right? Now taking the both, then I can get 0 comma 0. So totally, when the subarray size or number of zeros are 2, I got 3 subarrays. When the subarray size is 1, I got 1 subarray. You might be clear with that, right? That's what I observed firstly. Now I have nums is equal to 000 to 00. Now 000 to 00. From these two zeros, I can surely say that I get 3 subarrays like this. So here I can count 3 subarrays, but I have 3 zeros here, right? So let us count how many subarrays I can get from these 3 zeros. Firstly, the 0 which I got here. Secondly, the 0 which I got here. And third, the 0 which I got here. Now, the subarray which is having 2 zeros. Let us consider this subarray which is having 2 zeros. Now, another subarray which is having 2 zeros is this one. And the next 0, comma 0, comma 0 is the total subarray which is having 3 zeros, right? So, totally I am having totally like 6 subarrays, right? Now, I'm just checking, right, whether my live stream is running or not. Okay, so I have totally 6 subarrays. So when I have 3 zeros consecutively, totally I have 6 subarrays, right? Now let us go forward with this example where I have 3 zeros, I have 6, right? So here 6 and plus 3 will give me the output of 9. Now here I got the output of 9, right? Nums is equal to 2, 10, 2019. So there is no element which is having 0, so we'll return 0, right? So the first thing which I observed is for 1, if you see, for 1, for only 0 which is having consecutively for one time, I have one subarray. I got one subarray. Now when I got two zeros consecutively, how many subarrays that I got is 3. For 3, when I got three zeros consecutively, I got totally six subarrays, right? Six subarrays, right? But if you see, with one consecutive element, only one consecutive zero, I got only one subarray. Let us write what is that subarray. Only this subarray, right? Now for 2, I have 0 comma 0. What are the total uh, subarrays that I got? Firstly, the first 0 and the second 0 and the total subarray. But if you see, this 0 has repeated again, right? So the subarray which I got till here by only uh, one subarray or one element, it is repeated over here, right? Now that's what I observed. So this and this, but only 2 has added to 1. And where is this 1 came from? Previously I have only one subarray, right? That's what I thought for the first time, right? Let us see whether it works for 3 or not. For 3 I have 0 comma 0 comma 0. Now 0 is the first subarray and another 0. With I'm just writing those elements which are having only one 0, or subarrays which are having only one 0. So another 0 and 0 comma 0 and another, this 0 comma 0 and another 0 comma 0, and then 0 comma 0 comma 0. If you see 0 0 0 0, right? Two subarrays which are having only one 0, two subarrays which are having only one 0, and one subarray which is having only two zeros is repeated. What is the number? Here I got 3, here I got 1. So 1 plus 2 I got 3. Now 3 plus 3 is 6. Nothing but 3 plus 3 I got 6. Now next, if I got 4, 0 0 0 0, definitely I get 6 plus what is the element here? 4. So 6 plus 4 I would get 10, right? So what I want to tell you is, first thing, I might have only one zero, I might have two zeros. So firstly I can make an array from this. So for one zero, one consecutive 0, I have one subarray. For two consecutive zeros, I have three subarrays. Nothing but 1 plus 2, right? Now for three consecutive zeros, I have 3 plus 3, nothing but 6. For 4, I got 6 plus 4, 10. That's what I'll do. So firstly, let us write the count subarray, right? Subarray count. Let me name it as subarray count. So when it is 0, it will be 0, however, right? So what I'll do, I'm just writing the code. So firstly, I'll be having, for 1, I'll be having 1, right? So for 0, I'll be having 0. Now, if I add if I just added this 1, then I would get, for how many ones I would get, right? Here, this answer. So if I added the previously, how many I got? So these are the indices. If you see, these are the indices and these are the values, right? Now, let me write it as subarray count is equal to 0, 1, 3, 6, 10. So these are the indices. Now, let me just change the color for this. I'm just changing the colors. So these are indices and the above ones are the values, right? Subarray count array values. Now, if you see, for 1, what I said is add the previous element and the current index. So 1 plus 0 has given me 1, and previously subarray count, let me write it, subarray count of I minus 1 plus what I got here, 2, right? So if I add the 2 to the subarray count of I minus 1, then I got 3. So 2 plus 1, I got 3. I got this 1, right? Subarray count of I minus 1. How do I get this 3? Get this 2? It is nothing but I. So subarray count of I is equal to I plus subarray count of I minus 1. So I would start this with 1 itself. Let us see by starting with 1, and I will end int I is equal to 0. I'll be using C++. So I is less than, I'll tell you why I am not placing only less than n. I'll place instead is equal to n. I'll tell you why. Now, subarray count of I is equal to I plus subarray count of I minus 1. This is the uh, major or the important initialization for this problem, right? So subarray count of 0 is equal to 0, but when I am going, so here I need to start with 1, right? So I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to n I plus plus, but I need to initialize this subarray count array. So vector of, I'm not initializing with int. Why? Because here I got the answer to be returned as long log, right? uh, Wait a second, i'm just checking I'm just checking the live. So here I have long to be returned. So I'll be initializing vector of long and name it as subarray count. And what will be the size of this? N plus 1, and I'll be initializing with 0 everywhere. Now, no need to initialize this subarray count of 0 is equal to 0, as the total array is initialized with 0, right? So subarray count of n plus 1 comma 0. Now, I got this subarray count, but what I can do with this subarray count, right? So firstly, so someone said, "Hi sir, can you start with basic?" Okay. Vinny 555. So I am just solving this problem, right? Uh, the problem of today's LeetCode 2348, number of zero-filled subarrays. So what I did is just went through the examples, so you can go through the examples if you want, right? So I am in the middle of this solution. You can watch the live again. Okay, okay, thank you for subscribing my channel Venny 555. So it is in the middle of the problem. So I have initialized the subarray count with n plus 1 comma 0, and I iterated from I is equal to 1 till n. Now what is my aim is, when I need the count for how many times these zeros uh, are repeated, how many times I got the consecutive zeros. So here if you see 1 3 0 0 2 0 0 4, wait a second, 1 3 0 0 2 0 0 4. So here I got, for now I got 1, till here I got 0, till here I got zeros for 0 time, zeros for 0 time, and here 0 for 1 time, and here 0 for 2 times. Then I'm just checking in the order. Here I got 0 for 0 times. Only till here I'm just, I want to know like this. I know till here I got two zeros, but I am not counting. I am just pointing it to the number, and I need to know whether this pointer is pointing to the zeros, and it is having like, it is giving me like, wait a second, so 0 0 0. So when my pointer is here, I need 3 here. Now if I got a 2, or if I got a 5 or any other element other than 0, then the count of zeros will be 0. Now if I have to write it, what I am counting, count of consecutive zeros. So let me name it as zero count, zero count. Now when I got a 0, 0 count will be incremented. Now, if I didn't get a 0, then the 0 count will be 0 again. So, let us write the code for this, but before that, let me do a dry run. Now, I have 2 as 2 as the count till here. Now, here I am starting with 1 again. So I got a 0, right? So I am incrementing the 0 count 1. Now here it is 2. Now here it is 0. But before making it 0, my 0 count as 0, I need to know what is the subarray count that I can get. What I can add to the answer. So these two subarrays, these two zeros, it can give me 0, 0. It can give me 0. It can give me 0. So this need to be added. So 3 need to be added to the answer. So for that, what I'll do, I'll just change the code with the initialization. But I didn't go with any code for the 0 count till now. So I'm just initializing long answer is equal to 0. So what I said, if I get a 0, I'll increment the 0 count. But if I didn't get a 0, I'll make the 0 count to 0. But before that, if the 0 count is 2, I need to add 3 to the answer. But how do I get this 3? This 3 is nothing but it is here. Subarray count of 2 is 3. So what I'll do is answer plus is equal to sub array count of 2. What is this 2? 2 is nothing but 0 count. After that, I will make the 0 count as 0. Now, you might say that why won't we placing this 0 count before and adding to the answer subarray count of 0 count? But if you do so, you will be adding 0 every time to the answer, right? So if you change the 0 count to 0, right, if you place this 0 count or is equal to 0, then you will be adding 0 every time because subarray count of 0 is 0. So there will be no change in the answer. So I am placing 0 count is equal to 0 after adding the subarray count to the answer. So let me just take it to our code, right? So I am just removing this 0 count is 2. This is just the example, right? Now I need a loop so that I can get the 0 count, right? So I need a loop, right? Now when I am making this 0 count as 0, when I got a number which is not a 0. So when I got a number which is 0, then I need to increment 0 count, right? So if the number nums of I is equal to 0, then I'll increment 0 count. If not, else I'll add the subarray count of 0 count to the answer and then make the 0 count is equal to 0. But we are not done yet. Why? Because there is a problem, and let us do a dry run for this. I is less than n, I plus plus. So don't forget to initialize n is equal to nums dot size. So there is something which we are missing, but I'll tell you when I go with the code and I'll get a wrong answer for sure, right? So I'll tell you why. Return the answer. Now what I did is initialized with the n, right? Int n is equal to nums dot size. So and I have to initialize ll answer is equal to 0. But before that, I need to initialize type define long ll. So answer is equal to 0, right? Is there anything? Yes, 0 count is equal to 0, and I am initializing vector ll 0 count, no, sub array count, which is of length n plus 1, and everything is initialized with 0. For int I is equal to 1, I is less than, I am not placing is equal to, but instead I just place n so that you might understand what will be the error. So I plus plus Now subarray count of I is equal to subarray count of I minus 1 plus I. That's what I wrote here, if I'm not wrong. So subarray count of I is equal to I plus subarray count of I minus 1. That's it. Now, after that, what I did after that is for int I is equal to 0, I is less than n, we have already initialized this answer is equal to 0 beginning. So I is equal to 0, I is less than n, I plus plus. If nums of I is equal to 0, 0 count will be incremented. Else answer plus is equal to subarray count of 0 count. So for int I is equal to 0, I is less than n, I plus plus. So if nums of I is equal to 0, just increment the 0 count. Now if not, else sub array count, sorry, answer plus is equal to sub array count of 0 count, right? After that, make 0 count is equal to 0. Now return the answer at the end. Let us see whether do we get any wrong answer, right? So the test result, let me move it here. So I got a wrong answer here for 000200. Let me do a dry run for that. So 000200, that's what we are going with. Wait a second. 000200. I got a wrong answer here. Now let me initialize 0 count is equal to 0 and vector of sub array count. I'm just initializing with 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, everything with 0, right? Now after that, first thing I have initialized n is equal to nums dot size, which is nothing but n is equal to 6 and 0 count is 0, and the answer is also equal to 0. Now I is equal to 1, I is less than or equal to n, I plus plus subarray count of I is equal to I plus subarray count of I minus 1. Here I am starting with 1 2 3 4 5 6. Here it is 0. Subarray count of I is equal to I plus subarray count of I minus 1. So here it will be I is 1 plus 0 is 1. Now subarray count of I is equal to subarray count of I minus 1 plus I. 2 plus 1 will be 3. So I will be changing everywhere so that don't I don't waste your time. So 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 4 is 10, 10 plus 5 is 15, 15 plus 6 is 21. But I here I made it till less than or equal to n. Did I made it here? No, I didn't placed less than or equal to n. I placed only less than n. Now what will be less than n? So it will be only till 5, and here it will be 0. Let us see what happens if we didn't place it here. But here I think I don't get any wrong answer, but in the future test case I might get a wrong answer, right? Now I'm going with this loop. I is equal to 0, I is less than n. If nums of I is equal to 0, 0 count will be incremented. So let us take this over here. Now we just need this for the reference subarray count. We are gonna do our part from here. Now the I pointer is here. 0 count. If nums of I is uh, 0, that's what I wrote here. 0 count will be incremented. So it will be 1. Then the iterator is here. Then it is 0. So increment to 2. Now the iterator is here. So increment it to 3. Now iterator went here. Now the answer need to be incremented as it is not 0. This will be executed. Answer plus is equal to subarray count of 0 count. Answer plus is equal to subarray count. Subarray count of what is the 0 count? 0 count is 3, right? Subarray count of 3 is 6. So answer will be incremented with 6. Now after that, 0 count has to be made 0, right? So 0 count is made as 0. Next I goes here. It is 0 again. So 0 count will be incremented to 1. Next it is again a 0. So 0 count will be incremented to 2. Now after that I go out of the loop. That's where the problem came. Here I got 6 as the output. Instead I need to get 9. Why? Because this 0 count, this 2, the subarrays which I can get from these two zeros, it is missing. It is missing. So what I need to do here, I need to add something. At the last, I didn't add the zero counts, right? So what I need to add is answer plus is equal to sub array count of zero count, right? So if I add it, then answer will be incremented to subarray count of zero count. It's nothing but subarray count of 2 is 3, right? So 6 plus 3 is 9. I'll get 9 as the answer. Yes. So at the last, answer plus is equal to sub array count of zero count. Let us do a run for this. So it got accepted for these test cases, but I didn't get involved is equal to. This is the problem. I got a wrong answer with double zero double zero. Let us check that too. So I'm initializing double zero double zero. Nums are equal to double zero double zero. Now let me initialize this subarray count. Subarray count, right? I'm just using a short form. Now 4 is n. I said I'll be initializing with n plus 1, right? 4 plus 1, which is nothing but 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Everything is initialized with 0, but till here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Till here only I am just changing the values. So here it will be for 1. For 1 it will be 1, for 2 it will be 3, for 3 if I am not wrong 3 plus 3 6. Now it is not initialized. Let us see what's the problem with this. Now the zero count is 0 and the answer is sorry, also equal to 0, right? Now iterator is at pointing at this. Zero count is incremented with 1, then the pointer is here 2, then the pointer is here 3, then the pointer is here 4. After that I am adding what let us see what I am adding. I am adding answer plus is equal to, I got out of the loop. Out of the loop, answer plus is equal to subarray count of zero count. Now subarray count of, what is the zero count? 4. But what is subarray count of 4? It is 0. That's what where I am wrong. It should be 6 plus 4, which is nothing but 10. So that's what where I got a problem, just because of uh, forgetting to place an equal to. So I'm just using this test case, right? So I is less than or equal to n. We'll be also having for 4, so it got accepted. I'm just submitting the code. So yes, so I got 1 day streak, but I have for my another account where I got like 300, more than 300 days of streak. This is just for practice and this won't be active, right? And I'll be going with the contest next week. So if you are interested, you can join after the contest at 9:30 a.m, right? And I'll be solving max 2 or minimum 1 problem there. And if you have any doubts, you can share with me, and you can also ask your doubts in the live chat and also in the live session which will be conducted the coming Sunday at 9:30 a.m sharp. So thanks for watching this live, right? There are only two people, so thanks for watching it. Do like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.